All right, everybody. You're going to hear this and think it's something from a Triple X movie, Pillow Talk. You're going to think P.A. Anderson's trying to talk dirty to you. Piloerection. Oh, I know what you're thinking. And believe me, you couldn't be more wrong. And I'm hoping that the YouTube algorithm doesn't demonetize me for saying piloerection. It's a word in medicine. And like a lot of medical words, they're big and confusing and cumbersome. But out on the street, they just have simple, common names. So I've got 8 words plus 3 bonus words that are very complicated that mean super simple things. Medical words are like poetry. They're really cool, really fun to learn, really interesting. I'm going to try to break them down essentially by how they developed and then what we call them out in the real world, on the street at the bar. Because you surely don't want to be saying piloerection at the bar. That's probably a good way to get the bouncer's attention. First thing up, Verruca vulgaris. Every time I hear that word, I think about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if you remember that movie. There was a kid on there, a character.
I'm Veruca Salt.
Pretty appropriate name because she was kind of salty and I suppose sort of vulgar. But Verruca vulgaris is neither salty nor vulgar. Verruca vulgaris is a big, complicated medical word for a wart. Just a common, everyday wart. You know, the kind of thing you get from touching frogs.
Bad frog! Bad frog!
Okay, really not a thing, by the way, touching frogs and getting warts. It's really a virus, but you know what I'm talking about if I say, oh man, that's a wart from touching frogs. And Verruca vulgaris just kind of sounds dirty to me, right? I'm not really even sure if the word Verruca vulgaris is better than just saying wart. Kind of sounds worse in a way. Sounds like you have some big complicated thing going on. So Verruca vulgaris is a Latin origin. Verruca means like a projection from the Earth's surface. And vulgaris essentially means common. So it's a common projection off the surface. A wart. Such a benign condition with such an evil sounding name. Verruca vulgaris. All right. So spinning off from Verruca vulgaris is a bonus word numero uno. Condyloma acuminata. Almost sounds like Lion King.
Hakuna Matata!
So this ties directly into Verruca vulgaris because it is a type of wart, but not the common kind like you find in your hand or your foot. This one's actually a little more personal and generally a bit more concerning to patients. Condyloma acuminata is genital warts. And normally when I use this phraseology in my charts, I'm actually talking about like significant warts, really large overgrowths, and typically around the anus, also around the vagina. Yeah, it's a pretty significant problem to have, unfortunately. So this one's actually of Greek origin, and condyloma essentially means wart-like protuberance, and acuminata is like pointed or tapered. Condyloma acuminata is very commonly associated with HPV, human papillomavirus. So as you can see, this is definitely not the kind of wart that you get from touching frogs. All right, so next up. You may have experienced this if you've ever eaten something spicy, like spicy, like really, really spicy, like bringing the heat spicy. You may have developed syngultus. Oh, yeah, you've got syngultus, or you may have had syngultus. What are you going to do? Call 911, call your doc, call your mom, go to the hospital. You've got syngultus. Maybe not so quick on all that stuff. How about try drinking some water upside down, or holding your breath, or getting scared? That's probably a better solution to singultus than actually going to the hospital. Did you figure it out? Hiccups. Singultus is that $10 medical word for hiccups. One of the most annoying things in the known universe, in my opinion, is hiccups. And I'm not really sure why I like this word so much. I think probably just sounds cool. And I don't use it a whole lot in clinic. The times that I use it are typically patients that have intractable singultus. So somebody's just got hiccups that you just can't shake. Apparently the water didn't work, or the scaring, or anything, holding their breath. Uh, the trick I like, you can try this actually next time you get singultus, is take a packet of sugar, just like a normal packet like from a restaurant, and literally just eat the whole packet of sugar. I tried it myself. 85% success, I suppose. They might have just gone away anyway, but the sugar's tasty. So this one's another Latin word, starting with singult, meaning to catch your breath while sobbing. It's kind of interesting why they take catching your breath while sobbing and it becomes hiccups. Although I probably would cry when I get the hiccups because, quite frankly, again, I cannot stand them. So this next one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It's also something you might see with animals like cats. If they get scared or want to make themselves look scary, they'll puff up, tail gets all big and puffy. Dogs might do the same. I'm assuming other animals also do this. You as well might have experienced this when you go out from the house and it's really cold outside and the hairs just stand up on your arms. This is the one that sounds like a triple X word, right? Like a dirty word. Piloerection. It's not a dirty word. Piloerection is simply goosebumps or goose pimples or goose flesh. Not even sure which one's the right one. So piloerection is actually a Latin word again, and this one comes from pilus, meaning hairs, and erection, which means rising. I think we probably all figured that one out. Didn't need the Latins to tell us that. So just to throw it at you now, bonus word number 2, horripilation. Horripilation is actually another word that means goosebumps or goose pimples or goose flesh. Yeah, horripilation is even like a more fancier, pompous way to say goosebumps. It's really not one that I would use very often. There's probably somewhere somebody uses it, but I can imagine that if I put that in the chart, somebody would be super confused. I do use piloerection. So it's a common symptom when people are going through detox. One of the things we look for is the hairs to be standing up on their skin. And that's one of our indicators of detox. So that I do chart. So horripilation is again Latin in origin. Horripilate means to bristle or shiver.